Good morning, everyone. Brent, would you lead us in prayer, please?
Heavenly Father, as we take this moment to pause and bow before you, we pray for the board, for the people that we serve, for the jobs that we do on a daily basis. We pray for the guidance that we need always to make the right decisions in the right way. We pray that you'll continue to watch over and care for us as a county, as a people, that you'll forgive us of our sins and our shortcomings. In Christ's name we pray.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Lance, would you do the roll call, please?
Sure will. Commissioner Pitts?
Yes.
Commissioner Harlan? Here. Commissioner Foster? Here. Commissioner Miller?
Here.
Commissioner Gould?
Here. Having a quorum, I'll call the meeting to order. First thing is approval of minutes. We've got regular board meeting, January 8th minutes. Everybody had a chance to look at those. Any discussion or corrections?
I move to accept this presented. Second. Commissioner Pitts? Yes. Commissioner Harlan?
Yes.
Commissioner Foster?
Yes.
Commissioner Miller?
Yes.
Commissioner Gould? Yes.
And we also have executive board minutes from January the 8th. We went into executive session to discuss litigation with employees. Everybody had a chance to look at those.
Yes.
Any additions or anything else?
From 2,500 to 3,000 a year, which I suppose that's understandable with everything else going up in the world. And also, the city of Dongola has got a grant for $75,000 coming for demo of empty and abandoned houses in Dongola. However, I asked her how many houses that would preclude, and she said, to tell you the truth, they don't know, because they're going to do as many as they can for $75,000, which will affect us at property tax time, And but Dongola wasn't the only one that got the grant. It was the only one in this county. There was other ones throughout the southern five that got the grant, but it just so happens they got $75,000 to demo houses, and but that's what we discussed down there at the meeting, and I did stay afterwards at the meeting. We discussed several things that would, could possibly help Union County, which I'll talk about that a little bit later.
Okay, good deal. Anybody else? Any building permits? Nope. Okay. Nothing under old business. We want into new business, approve payment of bills. Everybody had a chance to look at the bills. Any questions or? No, I make a motion to pay our bills.
Second. Give me 1 second as you fly. All right, Commissioner Pitts?
Yes.
Commissioner Harlan?
Yes.
Commissioner Foster? Yes. Commissioner Miller?
Yes.
Commissioner Gould?
Yes. Next on the agenda is appointment to the Shawnee Development Council Board. Basically, that's the food pantry. Bobby served on that. I don't have anybody in mind at the moment. They're wanting us to put another commissioner back on there, obviously. So if any of you have any thoughts on that, or
How often do they meet?
not sure, they're
I think it's once a month.
once a month, I'm sure.
And it's at Carnett in the evenings? Sure.
Yeah.
Not through the day?
No.
I can probably do that for you.
I can get you the exact day and time. It's in my office.
That's something I'd be interested in.
Can we go ahead and act on that since it's in there?
No, because the resolution have to be prepared
Okay.
once we have whoever you're
Okay.
appointing.
All right. We'll officially do that next meeting and get the resolution prepared. I appreciate that.
You're welcome.
Appointment to Southern Illinois Development Authority. You-
It's a brand new board. They contacted Lance and Max and I had a phone conversation with them. We don't have a whole lot of information because it's brand new. They're just starting it. They're trying to get people from counties on the board. They tried to start it up along, like, I don't know, probably 2 years ago and had contacted us, but then it never went through. So it looks like they're circling back around. They're trying to get it started up. The only thing that we really know, she didn't have a lot of information, is it's mostly about bonds. Do you remember her name?
I've wrote it down in my office, but I don't have.
Not someone local. It's like a bigger organization. We even asked, when do they meet? They don't know because they're just starting it. So they're trying to get people that are interested in serving on the board, and then those people will come together and decide what day thing, and then it sounds to me like they actually make the appointment.
She
So,
wasn't even clear on that.
no.
It was,
It's a
it
brand new
was like
board.
she was kind of like a secretary, a position of it. I don't think she was fully the one. She was just a liaison, we'll say, that somebody else kind of appointed to discuss this with. But when we asked questions, she wasn't the most informed about it. So we'll find out a little more for you. But they worked with. She says they worked with. Southern Five. The lady that's on Southern Five's.
Tiffany.
Yeah, Tiffany. She's representing Pulaski County on it and stuff like that. Because I asked, I said, well, it kind of works the same, but they deal, just like you said, with more of the bonds and issues like that. So
She said Southern Five does the grants and they do the bonds. So if you're interested, Dave, maybe I can set up a time that we can call her and you can ask questions. Okay.
Well, they have liaisons, I guess, from the state senators and representatives there. I wondered, I guess, I don't know, if it's too early on, probably you know, right?
Yeah.
That'd be a good thing.
Okay, we'll leave that alone and pursue it in that aspect, so. Next on the agenda, 6 months review of executive minutes. Do this every little bit. It's actually authorize and destroy the audio part of the executive minutes. We've got minutes from 8/9/19, 8/12/19, 8/23/19, 10/11/19, and 2/28/20. Again, this is just housekeeping that we do, required to do. So,
So need a motion.
yeah.
I'll make the motion. Second.
Commissioner Pitts?
Yes.
Commissioner Arnold?
Abstain.
Commissioner Foster?
Yes.
Commissioner Miller?
Yes.
Commissioner Gould?
Yes.
Moving along, next item, policy regarding vendor selection, guard checks. You want to explain that? We've got several on here, policies that are not all completed. That's why they're marked out. Andy's working on getting them done as she can, along with everything else. Go ahead.
So a couple years ago when they started the GATA requirements, Grant Accountability and Transparency Act, where we had to go in and into this portal and we have to put all this information and it's all about all of our grants and answer questions. And we have to do it throughout the year, and then a big project that we have to do in May. But part of it is that you have to have policies. So even though we do this stuff, they want it written down on paper to show that it's your policy. So they started off with requiring, there was 20 different policies that they wanted prepared. We had completed 11 of them prior, and we had 9 left. So today you have 3 more on your list, so we're down to 6 out of 20. But the first one is about debarred vendors. Basically, if someone receives federal money and they don't spend it appropriately, the federal government will put them on a debarred list. And as part of receiving grants, you have to agree that you will check your vendors with the debarred list. And if anyone's on the list, you won't use that vendor. So that's what the first one is. The second one is a record retention policy that they require us to have. It basically says that we'll have to keep all records for 3 years. Some records you have to keep for longer if it's required by law, and that if it's going through any kind of lawsuit, obviously you can't destroy it even if the 3 years is up. So it's a pretty standard retention policy. And then the third one is a bank reconciliation policy. So it's the stuff we're already doing. Obviously, we're already doing bank recs. Lee, the treasurer's office, is handling them, but it basically spells out that we have a policy that they must be performed and that we aim to get them done in 20, and that, Lee's staff prepares them, but she reviews them, and then the bank statements are secured in the vault once they're completed. So that's really the 3 policies that are before you today.
I'm just gonna make a motion to, if anybody's got any questions about these, to approve all 3 of them that are done. Again, the others that are on the list will be tabled when Angie gets them done, and we'll vote on those also. So this is just a whole new deal to begin with. Came down from the governor a couple of years ago, and so anyway, I'll make a motion that we approve, put in place these 3 policies.
Max, I understand, we might need to do them all individually though, since they're listed, I think, or, I mean,
That's fine. I don't care. I mean, it's just a matter of doing.
I know, but just formality.
All right, make a motion that we approve the policy regarding vendor selection, debarred checks.
Commissioner Fitz.
Yes.
Commissioner Harmon.
Yes.
Commissioner Foster.
Yes.
Commissioner Miller.
Yes.
Commissioner Gould.
Yes.
Letter L, I make a motion to approve the record retention policy.
I'll second that.
Commissioner Fitz.
Yes.
Commissioner Harmon.
Yes.
Commissioner Foster.
Yes.
Commissioner Miller.
Yes.
Commissioner Gould.
Yes.
And then last, I'll make a motion that we approve the bank reconciliations policy.
Okay.
Commissioner Fitz.
Yes.
Commissioner Harmon.
Yes.
Commissioner Foster.
Yes.
Commissioner Miller.
Yes.
Commissioner Gould.
We got anything for executive session? I mean,
Unless you want to talk about the wellness group, but I don't have
I
an
don't really
update.
have much update on that. I mean, I talked to Tyler last night. So, I mean, we're just kind of still where we are. It's really, if somebody wants to talk about it, I don't see any point going into executive session. At this point. Okay. Other business.
I wanted to update everybody on the tax. The delinquent list will be published on January 28th. Certified letters will be mailed out on February 5th. And the tax sale is scheduled for March the 3rd.
March the 3rd.
Mm-hmm. In the community grade, so social distancing.
So we're on schedule. We'll need to be then, right?
Absolutely.
I still would like to, hopefully, don't know how you guys get everything done, but if you recall, we pushed it back last year, but I would like to get it all moved up another 30 days this year where we're actually on the schedule we're supposed to be on. So, if at all possible. And I can do it with what we did last year. But, I'd like to set that as a goal to get the taxes out 30 days ahead of what we did last year, and that's what we need to be.
The representative from DevNet was here last week, and I talked to her about that, and then going back on that, so, kind of should be an issue, so.
Wasn't a lot of the holdup to do to get some of the information from the communities?
In the beginning, that was part of it, that's taken care of, yeah, so we should be
So we really know
much better position this year, so. Getting the multiplier from the state of Illinois.
That's always the biggest hang up, yeah, is the state.
So.
I actually have some other business that this has actually been a long time coming, I should say. Back in the 1990s, we had a petition drive to beautify and get the state pond down in west of Jonesboro to shade for the public. And we actually had like almost 5,000 signatures at that time. And I myself went to the city councils of Anna, Jonesboro, Coppin, and Dongola. And as a matter of fact, the Union County Board at the time, they all signed off on making it a public recreation place, and that the Union County would actually take control of it. Well, between Mike Boston and myself, we actually got that done. And at that particular time, we had a clause put into that particular contract where if the county ever did deem that they didn't want to control it, take care of it anymore, the only thing they could do with it is to give it back to the state of Illinois. Well, that since was the case. And so, but this little piece of property down here is over 125. We talked about this the other day amongst other things. And she agrees that it would definitely bring in a lot of tourism for the county, because these people would come in and they would camp there and come in for the day, it's picnic. They'd run up here to the restaurants and they'd get breakfast in the morning. And then they'd go to the Save-A-Lot over there, well, it used to be Save-A-Lot. And they'd buy groceries, and they'd go back down there and cook them, they'd buy ice, bake, and but anyway, there's a golden opportunity there for the county, and I know that Dale Fowler, this state senator from the 59th district, has just reopened another area for the state of Illinois, for the people, for recreational opportunities. And I think that this piece of ground down here west of Jonesboro should be reopened again to the public. I think it's a travesty the way it's sitting down there unutilized. And there's so many people that could benefit from it. And anyway, she and I were talking, and there's a matter of fact, there's all kinds of grants and money available for this. It's just that they've never been approached. And we talked about state pond and other things, but the state pond is what I want to focus on now. And I want to try to be brief as I can. Well, I know we all have other things to do. But she and I was talking, and the state will not give grants to the state of Illinois, which makes sense. So this piece of ground, if an entity would want it back, it has to be taken from the state, not taken, but given back from the state. And I thought about this, and I don't know, to tell you the truth, there's several different alternatives we can go and still achieve the same thing. One was have the Nature Conservancy take it over, which is a possibility. And then that way they would be able to get the grants to keep it open. I thought about that. Well, actually, me and my dad, which I buried him last Friday, we had talked about these kind of things because he was actually raised up on that place. And that's where I grew up, learning how to catch a catfish with my grandpa, and spent summers up there raising pole beans for money in high school. But I have a lot of memories of that place, and I want the children of Union County to have the same opportunities with this place. So anyway, another thought was this particular piece of property used to be the water reservoir for the Shoal Mental Health. And it was for years. They actually had the pumping station down there and the elevator. And I remember the guy that worked there. I remember the bench that used to sit outside, how nice it looked. And actually, but anyway, I think another opportunity for us, I believe as a board, since the show has control over it now, is try to have the Shoal Mental Health through Springfield actually deed this piece of land or give it over to Department of Natural Resources, which is actually control of the Trail of Tears State Forest. And I got thinking, you know, state forest, state pond, state pond, state forest. And it's not very far from the state forest as a crow flies at all. And I was thinking, well, they already have their people working down there. I know it would be a little bit more labor, you know, collecting the trash down there, you know, bringing it back to the other part and maybe restocking it and collecting the money from the camping fees and things like that. In that aspect, the people of Union County would have this available to them at a very, very minimal cost. It wouldn't hardly cost nothing, but it would actually add so much to the community in tourism and recreational opportunities. If indeed we can get the state of Illinois to let the Department of Natural Resources take this piece of ground over and annex it into the Trail of Tears State Forest. And it's so close. I mean, I see their pickup trucks over on 127 all the time going here, there, and yonder. I mean, it wouldn't be that much farther for them to go over there. And I was just wanting to get your thought on this, whether we should continue in this, maybe in this direction. But I'd be willing to pick up the football and carry it.
Well, I personally, and I'm just speaking for myself, I don't want to get back involved as a board with the state pond. We've been there, done that. It was nothing but headaches. And but as far as you pursuing it personally with your connections, I don't have a problem with that. I mean, if it could be tied in with, like you're talking about, I don't want to waste the county's time and efforts on that.
I understand.
And I'm not
And
downplaying what you're saying, but, you know.
well, that was the first option, and actually, I opted against that because the county actually totally blew it. I mean, they were, in my opinion, totally incompetent, and I would not want to go back there no more. I just don't want to go back there no more. But the option that I suggested about the Department of Natural Resources taking that over, I think that's something that the county board could actually get into, and it wouldn't be no skin off of us, I guess you could say.
I mean,
What do you think?
somebody else.
County, why would we be involved with the state program? I mean, that's,
Well, quite possibly, it could be, we may have to update the road.
no, state only, state take care of the road. take
No,
care of
I mean, actually, the road going to the state pond road.
Right.
So the county would have to maintain that, but I don't
I mean,
know.
it's in pretty good shape now, right?
Yeah, it is.
I mean,
It is.
she lives down there,
But that'd be the only connection I can.
I mean, how much return the county would make on sales tax and stuff? I mean, you think the return would be worth the investment?
Oh, there's no
It would
doubt.
take a lot of money, I mean, it'd take a lot of people to occupy that to get good financial return on that.
I know the little businesses around here probably appreciate it.
Well, I think that Matt said, I don't know that it's the county's situation to be involved in it, but if you want to take on the objective to see yourself early in the stage,
It's a good idea.
you know, go for it, let's see where it's.
So, yeah. What do you think, Bill?
Want to pursue it?
Yeah.
See what you can come up with.
Well, because, you know, I've been pretty good to work with, Mr. Windhorse and, Paul Jacobs and So I think maybe, you know, with a little initiative from our end, I think maybe we can get something done that's positive for the people of the county. Something that everybody can go over and enjoy. You know, without any money getting spent out of our pocket.
Right, well, that's fine, yeah. That's a good idea, I mean, that's really.
So
I don't
we can-
have a problem with that, if you wanna pursue it. I mean, it's all with the state of Illinois, it's not with us, and, that's the way I wanna keep it, that part of it. However, it could end up off-spring to another portion of the state or whatever, that's great. But I just don't want the county's name on it, so.
But we will take the sales tax from it.
you know.
That's the
Take
thing.
anything we can get.
Yeah, that's the thing. It will help the county.
But
Because the more people purchase here and, the better conditions that we can make our community and our county, the more people maybe will actually still want to live here and not move away. And for a long time now, we've been going the other direction. And the census, that's another thing we talked about down there in Southern Pine, the census coming up. And, it's going to be proven out that people are actually leaving.
I just want you to assure me that you won't, I don't know how to say this. Commit something from the county without us
Right.
talking about
I
it.
promise.
So,
Yeah, and that's why I brought this up.
so I don't wanna
Yeah.
go down
But
that
I
path
think,
either.
I think we can have something, down there that we'd all be very proud of. You know, I'm not gonna do anything less than that. You know, so. But I am willing to pick up the football, see if I can get that done.
That's fine. That's fine. It's gonna be in Brewster.
Yeah. We'll make her nice.
Anybody got anything else?
I would like to make just one general comment, even though it's a little contentious a while back, but George Warren passed away several weeks ago, and, you know, he had provided services to Union County for decades. I just want to recognize my appreciation for what he did to the county back before.
Anybody else? Make a motion adjourned.
Second.
Mr. Pitts? Yes. Mr. Harmon?
Yep.
Mr. Foster?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Mr. Gould?